We got a no-hitter watch in Queens as the Guardians flirt with history against Juan Soto and the New York Mets. This is MLB Game Night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Welcome into MLB Game Night, every game, every night. I am one of your hosts, JD Hafron, host of Locked On Cardinals. You can find me at Locked On Cardinals, which is LO_Cardinals, and at JD Sports Radio. Jon Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. You can find him at Super Halo Bros and at Locked On Angels. Also, maybe you aren't aware of this fact. He is a survivor of typhus and dysentery from back in 1848. True story.
Airing my dirty laundry on the show? Come on now.
We gotta peel back the curtain and be open with all of the listeners and watchers on YouTube. So ask Jon about that sometime. Ask him how he survived the Oregon Trail. Cubs trying to avoid the sweep at home against Cincinnati. Shohei Ohtani hits number 1,000, and the Blue Jays show no mercy against the Colorado Rockies. But we're going to start today's show in New York. Guardians at the Mets. Now, Jon, we know that the Mets have been in a bit of a rut. And sometimes you need to hit rock bottom to start climbing your way back up and out of whatever it is you're in. This pit, this rut, this hole in the earth that they're in at the moment. Well, this was pretty close to rock bottom today when they took on Cleveland. Not because of the competition, but because of what almost happened. We've got Justin from Locked On Guardians with the rundown on this no-hitter bid by Gavin Williams.
How far we've come in a month. A month ago, we thought this season was over. Now, we're complaining that Gavin Williams didn't finish off a no-hitter as the Guardians sweep the Mets. Justin Ladd of Locked On Guardians, we were so close to breaking 44 years of history. 1981, the last no-hitter / perfect game by a Cleveland pitcher, Len Barker. Everyone swears they were there, of course. But Gavin Williams, what a performance. 25-pitch second inning. In the third inning, he had more balls than strikes. To get to the ninth inning, retire the next 15 batters after his last walk of Brandon Nimmo before the ninth inning, just an exceptional performance. A great diving play by C.J. Kavitz in right field, who's not an outfielder by trade, by the way, which made me think they were going to get this no-hitter because you need one of those plays in a no-hitter. It wasn't meant to be. Of course, it was Juan Soto, but the Guardians got enough offense. Gavin Williams pushed history into the ninth inning, retiring 15 in a row after that last walk, and the Guardians still swept the series. That still feels pretty good. To sweep the Mets and almost have a no-hitter. Again, a big change from where we were a week ago. We're going to talk all about it on Locked On Guardians. Tune in.
Yeah, Justin coming in with the big, sweet, happy vibes. Mets swept by Cleveland. As he said, they've now lost 4 in a row, 8 of their last 10. Jon, I continue to say that the Mets will eventually snap out of this funk that they're in, but what DEFCON? This is a War Games reference in case people aren't familiar. What DEFCON are you at when it comes to the Mets here in the first week of August?
Man, what is isn't 1 the worst and 5 is like, we're okay. I'm going to say 2, JD. 2? DEFCON 2, because it's not full on panic mode yet. Because look, this Mets offense is not going to be no-hit. During their next game, they're going to be just fine. But it's a real slump, and they've had their moments, but this is an extended slump. And so to see them bounce back, I think it's going to happen eventually. Everybody hits their slumps. We look at the Tigers right now. They haven't been, as great as they were pretty much all season long. And there's just something to this Mets offense that you really have to believe in. And the fact that they have maybe the best bullpen in all of baseball outside of the Padres. I mean, they added so much at the trade deadline. I think it's all going to pay off for them eventually. Just a bad day. And at the end of the day, who knew about that no-hitter? When you go on Baseball Reference a year from now and you look at the score and you see, 4-1, dang, we got a loss. No one's going to remember that, especially if you're a Mets fan. So I think that they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, the amount of talent that they have in their clubhouse, it might just take some time to mesh, but if and when they hit stride, look out, because there are a lot of good players. Both
we've seen it. We've seen them hit their stride too, and so it's just we've seen what this offense looks like when it's all clicking. They clicked very early this season, and we had Ryan on here from Locked On Mets talking about another Mets win, talking about this offense, talking about this and that, and it seemed like there was an extended period of time where everything was just fine for New York, but right now, they'll get through it. That's my opinion.
Has anybody seen Ryan, by the way? Let him know we're looking for him, because
check on him.
In the slumps like this, I feel like he has vanished a little bit. We haven't seen much from him. Talking about hitting a stride. Boston Red Sox have been on fire recently. Royals at Boston today, Fenway Park. Before the game, a huge announcement for the Red Sox. They locked up their top prospect, Roman Anthony, to an 8-year, $130 million extension. It'll begin with the 2026 season and includes escalators that could bring the overall value up to $230 million. I like these type of moves. I'm like, if you see somebody and you believe wholeheartedly that that person is going to be the dude for the better half of a decade, then why not lock them up? Because their price is only going to go up as they get older and as they get better. So it makes a lot of sense for Boston to do that. So kudos to them. On top of that, good news, Red Sox riding a 7-game winning streak. They had them, 3 games behind Toronto in the AL East. They also had their new right-hander, Dustin May, and his ginger-flowing locks on the mound. What could go wrong, right? Everything is coming up roses for Boston. Well, the answer was plenty. Here's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox with the disappointing debut of Dustin May.
Dustin May's debut for the Boston Red Sox was not exactly ideal. I'm Gabby Maljanian from Locked On Red Sox, and the Red Sox fell 7-3 against the Kansas City Royals tonight in the series finale of a 3-game series in which the Red Sox had already taken the first 2 games of, so they had already won this series, but definitely a bummer in the finale with fans really excited to see Dustin May pitch, and he didn't exactly have the debut that he wanted. He threw 3.2 innings, giving up 6 hits and 3 earned runs, and the issue wasn't necessarily his command. He was throwing strikes, he just was getting hit, and he has a good arsenal. It's just a matter of Andrew Bailey working with him on his timing, his rhythm, his repertoire, and his pitch selection a little bit better so that he can find more success throughout the rest of his starts with the Red Sox over the course of the next couple months, because he did struggle to actually make the right pitch at the right time. So that's something I'm hoping Bailey can work with him on, and hopefully his next start is better. Tune into Locked On Red Sox on any podcast platform for more on this series and Dustin May.
And we mentioned this yesterday, I think, John. We were talking about Dustin May, and like everything about him says he should be awesome, right, as a pitcher, and it just, for whatever reason, injuries and whatnot, it just has not clicked for him yet. I feel like if it ever does, he's going to be a scary right-hander, but still working on things. Meanwhile, on the Kansas City side of things, they had Michael Wacha starting, and he was dealing. We got Jack Johnson from Locked On Royals with his thoughts on the Royals' victory.
The Royals salvaged this series in Boston thanks to a steady start from Michael Wacha and a big-time home run from Jonathan India. I am the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a few takeaways from this game and this series. Now, it's not exactly what the Royals wanted to do going into Boston, a team that they are chasing in the wild card standings, but a must was at least getting 1 win. They were able to do that in the finale tonight. As we said, Michael Wacha, another quality start. The offense, which had a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup, Mike Yastrzemski leading off and Jonathan India moving down to the 7-hole, seemed to work out tonight. Now, will they carry it into Friday in Minnesota against their nemesis and Joe Ryan? I guess only time will tell. But coming off 2 disappointing losses against the red-hot Boston team was so important for the Royals to find at least 1 win at Fenway Park. Now you're 3-3 on the road trip, and you have an ability and an opportunity, I should say, to go into Target Field, at minimum take 2 of 3, and head back to Kansas City after a winning 9-game road trip.
All right. Roman Anthony, by the way, 0-4 in this one after getting the big deal. Think he gives the money back, John?
Where's the refund? I need keep your receipt, Boston. Look, I know a lot of people are. I know Jim Bowden was out there with the world's worst haircut talking about how he should have gotten more money, he should have held out. Look at Acuna, look at Vladdy. But here's the thing: those guys were already in the league for several, seasons, and for Roman Anthony to get this deal, they bought out his arbitration. They bought him for a few years after, and it's guaranteed money, right? It's a minimum 180 million. And then you said the incentives as well. And look, that is more money than any of us have ever dreamed of. So I'm proud of the kid. And I certainly think it's going to pay off for them. Number one prospect in baseball for a reason. And so to lock him down, I think is a really good thing because he's part of your future. And if it doesn't work out, just trade him to San Francisco. They'll take him. I'm sure that's what's going to happen.
I don't know about all that, but hey, we never thought Devers would get moved there either.
Right.
So, but I think it was a good move. Kudos to them. And, it tells other teams, like, the Cincinnati Reds, who we're going to talk about here in a moment. They got a guy.
The Angels.
They got a guy named Ellie De La Cruz, who I believe they've been trying to lock up, and he's doing the Jim Bowden thing. Like, well, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute. But you can't blame a kid for jumping at the fact of getting 8 years and $100 million. Like, I mean, tough to say no to something like that.
Yeah.
Coming up on MLB Game Night, we are going to talk about the Reds and the Cubs. Cubs, we're hosting them, trying to avoid the sweep at Wrigley Field. Find out what happened next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is being brought to you by PrizePicks, the daily fantasy platform that lets you turn your football predictions into real rewards. Now, preseason is already heating up. You got college football not too far off in the distance, too. It is the perfect time to lock in your season-long more or less picks for the 2025 football season, all before week 1 actually kicks off. So whether you've got your eye on, big name quarterback, maybe a breakout running back, PrizePicks makes it easy to get in the game. Now, you can make season-long picks, too. For instance, we saw this one, Josh Allen for more than 27.5 touchdowns. I mean, come on. Barring an injury, he's going to smoke that number, right? Right? So that's something that you can go and do at PrizePicks. Check out the flex play option. Total game changer as well. Even when one of your picks misses, you still double your money. So go check it out. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after your first $5 play. PrizePicks. Run your game. Back here on MLB Game Night, we're going to Chicago. Cubs hosting the Reds. Reds took the first 2 games of this series and closed the gap to 5.5 between them and Chicago. They had their all-star Andrew Abbott on the mound. Seems like a good plan, right? But it was the Cubs starter who actually stole the show in this one. We got Sam from Locked On Cubs with the scoop from Wrigley.
Cubs with a very important bounce-back win in the finale against the Reds at Wrigley Field on Wednesday afternoon. I'm Sam Older from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and Cade Horton was magnificent. If there's one really big positive storyline here in the last few weeks, it's been the emergence of the Cubs' number 1 pitching prospect, Cade Horton. He was touching 99 today, looked really comfortable, was really aggressive, played to the conditions well. And the Cubs bats woke up a little bit. They had a good day today. Manufactured a couple runs, hit some home runs. Seiya Suzuki had a really strong game with a big home run, and he could have even had a much bigger day. He got robbed on a really good play out in left field, but him looking like that is a really good sign. Cubs need Seiya back. Dansby hit a homer, Happ hit a homer. It was a good bounce back day. Let's build on it. Nice day off on Thursday before the Cubs go to St. Louis, see if they can win a series there and just start getting back to where they need to be.
All right, so the Cubs pull off the victory. Offense has been quite silent recently for the Cubs, especially in those first 2 games. And like Sam mentioned, they got the power stroke going, end up popping 3 home runs. Your boy Suzuki, you want to show off your jersey there,
Yeah,
John?
let me get a little jersey action going here.
I was unaware that you were such a big Suzuki fan. There it is. Looking good. Looking real good right there. And Suzuki, one of those guys that, they need him to get going. Reds managed just 1 run on 4 hits. The 5 through 9 hitters in their lineup when it combined 0 for 16 with 6 Ks. Tough to win when that happens. One of the guys other than Suzuki that they need to get going again for Chicago, PCA, 2 for 21 so far in the month of August. No home runs, no RBIs, no stolen bases. Same stats as us, John. But PCA's got 12 Ks. Do you think he's just hitting that rookie wall, or is there something to really be concerned with here?
Yeah, I think when you look at what's been going on with the Cubs lately, it seems to be it's an everybody problem, right? It's everybody having an issue here or there. I mean, you think about they haven't come out of the gate since the trade deadline as well as they would like to, being 2 for 21 in August and not putting up the production. I mean, obviously PCA is a big part of that, but it feels like everybody, right? Kyle Tucker hasn't had a home run in over a month. And so it's just, I think it's infecting everybody on the Cubs lineup. So I'm not worried about PCA. I think he's going to be fine. I don't know if that he's really had an extended slump this season. And so, when you're a rookie, you got to make those adjustments at the plate and you got to figure out what people are, learning about you, and you got to adjust. They adjust to you, you adjust back, and round it goes, my friend.
Like it was the beginning of the season. It took a little while for him to get going. And then when he took off, and then it was amazing for 2.5 months. And now it's come back down to earth a little bit. So certainly a part of that lineup that they rely on to score runs and produce. So you got to get those guys moving again. Yankees at the Rangers. Yankees, they need a W in the worst way. I don't know if I feel sorry for the Yankees, but I feel sorry for Brian, he's been so upset in all of his videos over this slump that the Yankees have been in, while the Rangers, they've been more than happy to continue to kick the Yankees while they're down. We got Brian with us from Locked On Yankees right now. He's got the results from Texas, and he looks a little bit happier.
Yankees hold out as they barely get a victory 3-2 in Texas to close out this series and close out a devastating 1-5 road trip for the team. I'm Brian McKeon from Locked On Yankees, and even though the Yankees got a victory, it wasn't exactly the picture-perfect performance that you wanted. David Bednar was forced to get 5 outs, the longest save of his career, and the most pitches that he's thrown in his entire career. Not the proudest moment for the team, but they get a victory. They're heading back to the Bronx on a 1-5 road trip, and I'll tell you this, I would leave Aaron Boone in Texas if I absolutely could. We'll be talking about that and much more on Locked On Yankees. Catch us there.
Hey, the sleeves were safe in New York tonight, JD. He didn't tear off his sleeves like he did the other night.
No. Victory saved the sleeves. You know what else saved them probably? No Gavin Williams in this one. Notice that his name was not brought up. He was not in the box score. He did not get into this game. Instead, as Brian mentioned, it was David Bednar that they turned to. The 5 strikeouts, pitching an inning and 2/3. Yanks snapped their 5-game losing streak, but not a great day for the offense, who gets just 3 runs on 6 hits. Paul Goldschmidt with the pinch hit go-ahead solo shot in the 7th, his 10th of the year. Aaron Judge 1 for 3, trying to get that timing back still, 1 for 6 with 3 Ks since returning from the IL. But John, what do you think of Brian's travel plans for manager Aaron Boone? Good or bad idea to strand him in Texas?
Don't Yankee fans have this conversation about Aaron Boone every single season? I know they didn't make the playoffs 2 years ago, but they were in the World Series last year, right? And they make the playoffs every year before 2023. So I feel like we go round and round about Aaron Boone all the time. And yet they still have success. They still get there. And he didn't bring in Gavin Williams tonight. So I think that he deserves a seat on the plane.
Yeah, he's learning is what you're telling me. All right, Brewers at the Braves. Milwaukee came in on Wednesday, 25 games over 500, looking to sweep the Braves in their series finale. They had to go up against Spencer Strider and his beautiful mustache, while the Brewers had Jose Quintana on the mound. The matchup favored Strider, but that doesn't always work out. That's why they play the game. So Chuck from Locked On Brewers pulls his best Han Solo and says, "Never tell me the odds," as he explains how this one went down.
I believe the Brewers were actually underdogs going into this game. Atlanta was a -140 favorite with Spencer Strider on the hill, and the Brewers just got to him and knocked him out in the 5th inning. And they go 6-0 on the road trip, the Brewers do. Hey, everybody, Chuck Friedman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Blake Perkins, a 2-run home run, got the Brewers out to a 5-1 lead, and then they coasted home from there. Yeah, the Braves tacked on a few more runs after that, but the Brewers were in command of this game for most of the night. Yes, they were in command of this game. Sal Frelick came off a couple of days off because of the sore knee, had 2 hits. Oh, and that guy, Isaac Collins, batting 3rd tonight, had 3 hits. Quintana, 6 innings, allows 3 runs, gets his 9th win. Day off Thursday, 26 games over the 500 mark. The slumping Mets come into town on Friday night. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more a little bit later on tonight on the next edition of Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
Brewers first team to 70 wins this season. Did it in their 114th game. fastest they've ever reached 70 wins in their franchise. And as one of the great poets of all time, Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit says, keep rolling, 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 rolling. And that's what the Brewers are doing right now.
How's this? How's my Fred Durst right now?
Nice. You got the moves too, which is even better. Big fan. Let's take you out to Los Angeles, where Fred Durst, a.k.a. John, is actually at right now. Although this is not his team. It was the Dodgers hosting the Cardinals, my Cardinals, in this one. Series split at a game apiece in Los Angeles. They had Shohei Ohtani on the mound in this one, and per usual, he did something special in this game. Third inning, Ohtani pops his 39th home run of the season, a no-doubter, absolutely crushed it to give the Dodgers a 2-1 lead, but it was also a milestone, hit career number 1,000 for the three-time MVP. So congratulations to Shohei on Ohtani. On the mound, he was excellent again. 4 innings, struck out a season-high 8 hitters, and allowed just 1 run. And you hear these things, and nobody would blame you for thinking that the Dodgers won this game after grabbing that information, but you would be wrong, my friends. The St. Louis Cardinals get 2 in the 8th on an RBI single by Jordan Walker. They take advantage of a throwing error by Alex Freeland and hang on to win this game by a score of 5-3. Jordan Walker, 3 for 5 on the day. Lars Nootbaar, a couple ribbies. Cardinal bullpen blanks the Dodgers over 5 innings to steal the series in LA. They went 4-2 against the Dodgers this year, but lost 2 of 3 to the Colorado Rockies. Baseball. What a stupid sport. Coming up, speaking of the Rockies, the Toronto Blue Jays. John, they should be in prison. They should be in prison. All of the Blue Jays should be in prison for what they did to the Rockies in this series, and specifically on Wednesday. We'll get to it next on MLB Game Night. Today's show is brought to you by Gametime. Now, we've all been there, logging on early, waiting forever for concert tickets. Perhaps you want to go see Limp Bizkit when these tickets go on sale, only to lose your spot for a show that you've been dying to see. Something mechanical goes wrong and you're screwed, right? Live music should not be about dealing with the stress of ticket shopping. It's supposed to be about good memories, and that's where Gametime comes in. Gametime makes concert tickets faster, getting them faster and easier than ever before. Prices, they actually drop as it gets closer to showtime, and you can save up to 60% with killer last-minute deals that they got for you on the Gametime app. The price you see is the price you pay, which is one of my favorite things, whether you're talking concert tickets or sporting events. No hidden fees. The hidden fees drive me bonkers. Don't have to worry about it with Gametime. And if, let's say, plans change and you got something else that pops up, the Gametime guarantee has your back with cancellation protection and more. So take the guesswork out of buying concert and show tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We're moving right along on MLB Game Night. We're going to take you to Colorado, where the Toronto Blue Jays have just been having a whole lot of fun at the expense of these poor Rockies. After beating the Rockies 15-1 on Monday and then 10-4 on Tuesday, the Blue Jays put a 20 spot on them. 20 against Colorado on Wednesday. Now, to be fair, 8 of them were off the Rockies catcher, Austin Nolan, the top of the 9th inning, but they did collect 24 hits in the game. 14 hits on Tuesday and 25 hits on Monday. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is beer league softball numbers that they were putting up against the Rockies in this one. This is the most hits in a 3-game series in 125 years. Back when you battled typhus,
That's
John,
right.
that is how long it's been since somebody had this many hits in a game. Blue Jays had 63 hits in their series sweep of the Rockies, the most by a team in a 3-game series since 1900. 5 homers on the day, 2 from Davis Schneider, 1 from Vladdy, 1 from Ernie Clement, and 1 from Bo Bichette, who had an awesome series too. I mean, who didn't? Clement and Vladdy each had 4 for 7 days. Just 7 at bats. That's normal, right? Blue Jays had their fun, but they're going to be headed to Los Angeles next to face the Dodgers for what we think will be a real heavyweight matchup starting on Friday. So we're all looking forward to that. How about we go to where you live now, John? And that is the Angels land for Los Angeles. You guys had the Rays in town. How did things go for you guys today?
Yeah, it was a series finale between the Angels and the Rays. Angels took game 1, Rays took game 2. But in this one, Junior Caminero hit 2 home runs off Angels starter Tyler Anderson. Caminero earned home run number 29 and 30 on the season. And just so everyone knows what I go through as an Angels fan and the world's worst ownership, the Rays offered Junior Caminero and 2 of their top 10 prospects for 2 months of Shohei Ohtani back in 2023. But Angels owner Artie Moreno, he wanted to collect that Ohtani money. He wanted the 2 months of revenue he was getting and had no plan to bring him back in the offseason. So there you go. That's life as an Angels fan. Unfortunately, the Angels had the chance to come back. Mike Trout hit career home run number 398, tied it at 4-4. The Rays took the lead behind Christopher Morel, who hit a leadoff home run. And then the Angels loaded the bases with no outs in the 8th versus Rays reliever Griffin Jacks. He struck out the next 3 guys. So this obviously competitive team, in the words of their GM, isn't looking so obviously competitive right now. Rays moved to 57 and 59, and the Angels fall to 55 and 60. But they're in it, JD. They're gonna get. They're competitive. They're trying to get there.
They're doing it. They're doing their best each and every day. They're working really hard. That's the one we always hear. You know, they're really putting in the work. Okay.
Yeah.
Are they winning? No? Then it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Right. Moving on to the city of brotherly love, we got the Phillies hosting the Orioles. Phillies are going for the sweep against Baltimore, but the offense had a really tough time in this particular game. We got Connor Thomas from Locked On Phillies, and my man's searching for answers after this one as well.
The Phillies failed to complete the sweep against the Orioles today. Just way too many runners left out on the base paths. I'm Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And I don't know what it is with the Phils. They just can't figure out a way to sweep teams. And if you keep winning series, you're going to be okay. The sweep in baseball, if you win series, a little overrated in my opinion. But I'd like to see them do it, especially against a team like the O's that seems so listless in the first 2 games of this series. Ranger Suarez got into trouble in the 4th inning quickly, and there might be some concerns about him tapering off near the end of the season. We've seen it before. We'll be watching his action the next couple of starts very, very closely. And the Phil's offense, they've been really good on this homestand, but they were not good today. They left a lot of guys out there. I guess if there's an upside, Trey Turner had a really nice day at the dish, and he's been slumping lately, so it's good to see him get something going. Maybe he'll get hot as they go to Texas. We'll see. But the offense needs to come through more often than they did today. That's going to cost you ball games. We'll talk more in the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
Now, one of the things that Connor doesn't mention, because he doesn't cover the Baltimore Orioles, is who was on the mound for Baltimore in this one. And that was Trevor Rogers. And career numbers against the Phillies, because he'd been in the NL East for a few years with Miami, 1-6 with a 6.71 ERA and 11 starts. This is not the same guy. This guy is completely different since he's donned that Baltimore jersey. He goes 6 innings, 1 run, 6 Ks, moves to 5-2 on the year. He's got a sparkling 1.44 ERA over 10 starts. And it was one of those, and I consider them rare, because usually there's a winner and a loser when it comes to trades. And this was one of those win-win type of trades with the Marlins at the deadline last year, where the Marlins got Connor Norby, who's unfortunately hurt right now, but they also got Kyle Stowers, who ended up being an all-star this year. And the O's ended up getting Trevor Rogers, and he seems to be working out just fine for Baltimore. Astros at the Marlins. The Marlins salvage a series against the Stros with a victory in this one. We got Jeremiah Geiger on how Miami got it done at home.
I know it's early to start saying these are must-win baseball games, but that really felt like a must-win game, and the Marlins came through. It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. The Marlins salvaged the series finale. They beat the Astros by a score of 6-4, and after the Astros jumped out to a 2-0 lead, the Marlins struck back, got 3 runs in the bottom of the first, and they never gave away the lead. Heriberto Hernandez had an RBI single in the first. He later homered in the third. He's been awesome. How about Xavier Edwards, a 4-hit day? Lake Bacher closes it out. He gets the save. And now it's a long road trip. It starts off this weekend with 5 games against the Braves. Check out Locked On Marlins for more.
Notice something missing in that video, John?
The sleeves. He did the sleeveless.
Sleeves! But this was for happy reasons, I think.
That's right.
Jeremiah tore him off with in joy, not in anger. It's good stuff for the Marlins. Spencer Arrighetti for the Astros. The spaghetti monster, I think, is what Brett called him yesterday. 3 2/3 innings, 11 hits, 5 earned runs. No bueno. Can't look ahead to the next opponent when you got the fiery fish in front of you. Padres and Diamondbacks, an exciting one in this one. Tell us all about it, John.
Yeah, San Diego Padres, they're in the thick of a playoff race, but the Diamondbacks said, we don't care. They took game 1. Padres won it in game 2 in extra innings, kept JD and I up late on a Tuesday night. Corbin Carroll got things started in this one with a 2-run homer off Nestor Cortez. He's making his first start as a Padre and his first start since April 3rd after he signed with the Brewers. Did they trade or sign with him? I can't remember, but they had him, and then they traded him to San Diego. 4 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earnies on the home run, 3 strikeouts on 76 pitches. Obviously, they're watching his pitch count. Xander Bogaerts hits a solo home run in the 7th. Ryan O'Hearn in his first start as a Padre. Speaking of Orioles, he tied it up. Padres took the lead after a Bogaerts double. Cronenworth bunts him to third, and Jose Iglesias, OMG, drives him in with an RBI single. Mason Miller, who came over from the A's, gets redemption for giving up that 2-run home run to Gurriel on Tuesday night. He strikes out 3 to earn his first save as a Padre. They're just 2 games back of LA, and that's the Dodgers' smallest lead in the division since June 15th. So watch out. Watch out, Dodgers. The Padres, they're sneaking up on you.
You're welcome, San Diego. The Cardinals doing you some favors. And the Nestor Cortez, that was part of the Devin Williams trade.
That's right.
With the Yankees and Brewers.
How'd that one work out for you?
Neither team's gotten much from there, but Devin Williams, he didn't screw it up today. That's good news. A's and Nationals, after Shea Langoliers made baseball history on Tuesday, the A's tore the cover off the ball all game long. It was a lot of fun to watch last night if you weren't a Nationals fan. Washington looked to get at least one win in this series. We got Ryan from Locked On Nationals breaking down the return of Cade Cavalli to the mound and how the Nats salvaged this series against Sacramento.
The Washington Nationals needed a win, and they got a win. And of course, Cade Cavalli made his first start since 2022, and he dominated. I'm Ryan Clary from Locked On Nationals, and the Nationals get the walk-off win in the 9th inning. But before we get into that, Cade Cavalli making his first start since 2022 in the big leagues. He looked awesome tonight. 4 1/3 innings pitched, 88 pitches, struck out 6 batters, 3 up, 3 down his first 2 innings. That is what you wanted to see from the former first-round pick and someone who was a top 100 prospect. So we'll have much more on Cade Cavalli and how good he was in tomorrow's show. But in that 9th inning, of course, C.J. Abrams with the walk-off hit. Robert Hassel III did get it started with a nice little double there. But Jacob Young almost tried to ruin the game for us, had a bunt out after being up 3-0 in the count, but then comes C.J. Abrams to save the day. Again, a beautiful hit in the left field. Robert Hassel III made it tight at home, but ultimately was safe, and the Washington Nationals get the win 2-1 in a walk-off fashion.
Baseball giveth and baseball taketh away after all those stats last night for the A's. The combo of Langoliers, Kurtz, Rooker, and Blade go 2 for 14 with 7 Ks. So if you had them in your lineup tonight, don't. Giants and Padres. Giants take the series against the Pirates. 2 batters off the bench get it done in the 9th inning. Dominic Smith had the go-ahead pinch hit double off Pirates reliever Dennis Santana. Giants win this one by a score of 4-2. Twins at the Tigers. Twins take the rubber match of this series against Detroit. Jack Flaherty had a terrible day for the Tigers. Has not been a great year for Jack Flaherty. He surrendered 8 hits and 5 earned runs, 6 total runs. Twins tied it at 4 in the 4th and didn't look back after that. They win this one by a score of 9-4. Finally, White Sox at Seattle. How did things go for the Mariners and the Pale Hosts tonight, John?
Yeah, White Sox were down 7-1 in the 2nd inning, but they came storming back thanks to a Mike Tauchman 2-run homer, and then Lenyn Sosa also hit a solo homer. So it's 8-6. 8-5 going into the 9th inning. Andres Munoz, the best closer in baseball, gives up a home run to Michael A. Taylor. Baldwin and Tauchman take back-to-back walks, but unfortunately for the White Sox, Lenyn Sosa struck out. Andrew Benintendi flew out. Luis Robert grounds out on the first pitch. A big night for the Mariners, of course. Home runs from Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, J-Rod, Naylor, Suarez, they all had RBIs. Listen to the top of this Marlins lineup. It's ridiculous. Randy Arozarena, Cal Raleigh, J-Rod, Josh Naylor, and Eugenio Suarez. Just devastating to start against those five. George Kirby gets his 7th win of the season. Mariners are 5-1 since the trade deadline. Looks like all that wheeling and dealing from trader Jerry Dipoto paid off, JD.
Yeah, they were aggressive, and it has certainly paid off. They were running all over the game, too. Naylor had 2 more stolen bases. He's now got 21 on the year. I don't know how he does it. Yeah, but he's incredible. He's incredible at stealing bases. Could be a 2020 first baseman, which we don't see very much anymore in Major League Baseball. That'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We hope you guys come back and visit us next time on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.